Join us dodging military checkpoints as we cross the Thailand-Malaysia border on the road between Hat Yai and Penang in this episode of Secret of the Way. For breakfast, today we've got two different dishes. A bit of chicken and some kind of vegetable with shrimp in it and pork. Sounds a bit risky for traveling in the early morning across the border, doesn't it? That's good so far. Hope I don't regret it later. Okay, that did the trick. Bit of breakfast there. Didn't have much of an appetite really. Bit noisy in there. They had a couple of different televisions playing at the same time. Don't know what it is about Thai people, how they love so much noise all the time, but yeah, it's very early in the morning. I slept terribly last night. Oh, really? Maybe I was just excited to film for you guys, eh? Like Christmas Eve or something like that, trying to sleep, right? The monks have been out and about. I passed a few along the way here. We're gonna look at getting across the border now. So let's head down the road and we'll talk about it a little bit. So I've been to Hat Yai a bunch of times before, and I've come here by flying in, by bus, van, probably hitchhiking at some point. I know I've hitchhiked around the region a few times. I've done the visa run down to Malaysia a bunch of times. Done it all kinds of different ways. I'm gonna tell you guys the easiest way, because this is one of the most classic visa runs you can do if you're in Thailand and you want to renew your visa. There are vans that run from Hat Yai all the way to Penang in Malaysia. So this is the normal way most people head across the border there. Sometimes there are trains, but usually not. Sometimes, but who knows when. There might be trains crossing over again soon from what I've heard, but these things are always subject to change. This part of the country can have problems sometimes with insurgency, with separatists who want to split this region away from the country over religious matters and cultural issues. As far as taking the van across the border, you'd think you'd start out at the main bus station, right? Depends on your luck. There's times I've taken the night bus down from Bangkok and I was able to jump straight into a van and go across the border, and that was, I think, the first time I did it. Second time, tried to do it again, and the vans were all filled up and they wanted me to wait until 3 p.m. in the afternoon for the next ones. If you miss one wave of vans, then you've got to wait around for quite a few hours. Talk to your hotel. So I used to stay at the Cafe Hotel. It's an old famous one with the backpacker circuit around Southeast Asia here in Hat Yai, but they've closed down. There's still some good ones around, and ask your hotel first of all. You probably won't pay much. I'm paying I think 500 baht for this one. If your hotel doesn't organize booking a van for you, talk to one of the different travel agents that you see up and down the main road that leads out from the train station. The hotel where I'm staying was able to handle it, and they've actually got their own booking agency. Of course you're going to pay a little commission, but probably works out cheaper than having to get a motorcycle taxi to the bus station. Good morning. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, yeah. So I'll come back in a little bit, huh? I should be here, what time to be here?
8:30.
Okay, see you soon. Thanks. Okay, on the road. Thanks a lot, guys. See you. So we've stopped outside the tour company that actually owns the vans. The lady who organizes the vans, who actually owns the company, helped me to organize the digital arrival card for Malaysia, which is a new thing I didn't know about, which is a real pain in the you-know-what. But she helped. It took about half an hour to get it done too. Thanks a lot. So now we've had a change of vehicles into a smaller vehicle. Apparently there are not so many people today. All Alright, we're on the road again. On the way to the border, we roll through the crossroads town of Sadao, where it's possible to take a songtao ride to nearby Padang Besar and Thailand's main north-south train line, which we have covered in a previous episode of Seeker of the Way. We come to the outskirts of the lively border town of Dannok, where Thailand's busiest border crossing is located. On the Thai side of the border, it's called the Sadao border crossing, named after the district. On the Malaysia side of the border, it's referred to as the Bukit Kayu Hitam border crossing. By day, Dannok is a thriving international trade center, and most international travelers pass through, unsuspecting of what happens there at night. By night, Dannok is a major draw for male tourists from Malaysia who seek to find the kind of entertainment not easily found in their country. Weekends are the busiest times, when the bright lights and music of the evenings draw many with sultry promises of clinking bottles and the inviting smiles of Thai hostesses. Travelers who want to spend more time in Thailand have done visa runs to the Malaysia border since at least the days of the 1960s hippie trail. These days in particular, if doing a visa run entering Thailand, it is highly recommended to have the so-called 3 proofs, especially at border crossings that are popular with visa runners. Namely, proof of first night's accommodation, proof of onward travel, such as a flight out within 60 days, and 20,000 baht as proof of funds. Being rejected is a real possibility for frequent visitors. You're welcome to consult directly via the email in the channel description for pro tips if you have any concerns. Crossing into Malaysia is comparatively very relaxed. Gotta take a little break, it seems. Apparently, checkpoint just as we come out there, and we stopped at this kind of shopping thing, which they call a market, just next to the border checkpoint as we come through into Malaysia. But apparently they've got an extra checkpoint which we want to avoid because they're looking for a little pocket money. These things do happen, so when you're doing these kind of rides, if you follow the way the vehicle's going on Google Maps or any map app, sometimes you'll see the drivers go off the main way, which seems kind of inexplicable, but usually it's about that. They seem to have local apps that people can upload where checkpoints are so people can try to avoid them. Seems like the authorities are on their lunch break now, so it's time to roll. Well, that wasn't quite the end of it. We've just done a bit of a loop through the countryside and we're about to rejoin the main highway, so apparently now we've gotten around the checkpoint. We'll soon find out. Well, after 20 kilometers of pissing around in the countryside, we're back on the main highway. A little bit more sense of urgency now, which is good. Hopefully we'll make up lost time, which would have been about at least 45 minutes, I'd say. That's the way it goes. One thing you notice is the highway is a lot better on the Malaysian side, although on the Thai side the road has been improved quite a bit over the last decade and a half. Alright guys, I just got out of the ride at the Tower shopping mall and tower here. It's a landmark and there's a bus terminal underneath it. Let's have a look to get towards the hotel. Alright, so it took about 5 hours to get here. Normally it takes about 4.5, 5 hours. We lost a bit of time, but it got a sunny welcome now. The sun's come out, rain stopped. That's a nice welcome to Georgetown, Penang. So Penang's the name of the island. Georgetown is the name of the old town here. Now, you can see we just walked from the corner there where the Tower building is. And this street is actually quite important, and I haven't shown this one before in any of my other episodes about Penang, and there are a few. I've done an episode about Chinatown in Penang, and this is actually one edge of it. And I've done an episode about the British colonial district in Penang, which had a bit about Little India district as well, near the end of that video, which is a good one. And of course the Armenian district of Penang, Labua Armenian Street and around there, which was the third episode that I made about Penang. It also covers some of the areas outside Georgetown, like Batu Farangi Beach and Kek Loksi Temple, for example. So, this street that we're walking on now, this used to be the main street for the better quality hotels in Penang until, a couple decades ago, I guess, maybe 20 or 30 years ago, something like that. And then the hotel market changed, of course, as things do, and the nicer, more modern type expensive places were constructed a little bit outside of this area. So you still have tourists coming to this street. We'll have a look at some of the big old hotels along here in a second, but let's just have a little peek at the street life first. The tourists that still use this area these days seem to be mostly Malaysian people from different parts of Malaysia, and I would say from the region. Little market in here. There are a few markets. You saw a street back there, looked very popular for food. It's become trendy, which is a shame, because then when a little street like that was popular with locals starts to get Instagrammable, right? It gets kind of ruined. I had to walk down there like a while ago when I came here, and the sellers were getting quite pushy. And you see that a lot in the region. When a place gets well known, a local spot gets ruined, the vendors start to get greedy and start to become quite rude. Anyway, still looks like the food quality is good though, if you don't mind like people talking to you in a rude way, but yeah. Anyway, we're here in this beautiful place, Georgetown, one of the most beautiful towns in Southeast Asia, actually. Such a mix of architecture here, European, Chinese, Indian. And this looks like, I think it might be a Hindu temple. I'm not sure about that. It could be a Sikh temple, but so all kinds of stuff here. If you want to see different kinds of cultural influence, cannot really do much better than Penang. It's a good spot for a break. Penang's a good place to slow down and take a few extra days. 7-Eleven, a bit different from the ones in the neighboring countries. You see, the 7-Elevens are not the same in the countries in the region. They have some of the same products, but quite a lot of different products. I love Penang. I do, actually. Yeah, so Back in the day, if you had a bit of money in your pocket, this is the street that you would have come down. So you would have gotten out there at the Com Tower Centre and you would have wandered down here to find your upmarket hotel. We're going to have a look at them in a second, but I have to tell you, these hotels that used to be upmarket along here, most of them are pretty run down these days. Some have been renovated and still look quite okay. Good food options around here, by the way, as well. Hello, how are you? Good spot for lunch there, a late lunch. Looks good, man, looks good. Okay, 12 ringgit and 50 cents, very nice. Thank you so much. My tip is try to go with the places that the locals use. The ones where you get some foreigners can still be very good though. You can see old tram tracks here. It's been a long time since they had trams in Penang. It's a shame they don't bring them back though. It would be great. An old cinema. So, you can see some of the old hotels here. This became a bit of a dodgy nightlife area a few decades ago when the hotels started to get a little bit dingier. And of course that kind of stuff, the seedy nightlife was attracted to the area because people had money who stayed in these hotels. But after a while they became run down. But they still have a certain interesting style, right? Grand Inn. Not quite as grand as it used to be, but still quite interesting. So yeah, it looks like mostly Malaysian families use these places now for the bigger room size, that they can fit their family in the room. And people with money tend to go a little bit further outside the town and use a taxi to get in and out. The mosque there on the right, if you're feeling a bit spiritual. Remember, it's a Muslim country, Malaysia. Traditional and conservative kind of values. And this one is Chulia Street, the most famous street in the old town, I would say, where you can find cheaper backpacker type accommodation. Alright guys, so thanks for coming along in this little adventure crossing the border, the classic visa run from Thailand to Malaysia, from Hat Yai to Penang. So if you haven't already, please hit subscribe and like and bell button and drop us a comment. And if you'd like to support the channel, it would help us keep the show on the road. Hit the buy me a coffee link. That'd be really cool. Or if you'd like to become a member on YouTube, you can become a member directly on YouTube. Or you can just drop a donation on YouTube. I think they call it a super like. Alright guys, see you in the next one and don't be late.